Connor's going to talk about Harley Quinn issue 1. With
I am indeed.
Your favourite artist, Riley Rosmo.
Yes. Stephanie Phillips writing.
But that part's not funny, though. Stephanie Phillips has no humour associated. So, no.
Lots of humour in the book from her writing, though.
Oh, I imagine there is.
Yeah. I would like, just, if you do me a favour, just humour me here for a moment. If you could go to the Comixology page for this issue and look at the preview pages, I'm going to reference something in a minute, and I want you to have it there and see.
All right.
But just the general premise of this book, I'm going to start essentially in the middle of this issue, because it tells me what the book is going to be. We're in the middle of the issue. Harley gets home. She's like, "Oh, hang on, that window wasn't open. Someone's about," and it is, of course, Batman. Batman's coming and checking up on her, and he looks over at the wall and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And she's got like a murder board style thing on the wall. All the pictures and articles with all the red thread. Basically, she has a list of everyone who she has offended in Gotham. As Batman points out, it's a long list. And she is going to make amends with all of them. That's the plan for this book, is Harley making amends with all of the people in Gotham. Because even though her record, she's officially clean and not a criminal anymore because of the Suicide Squad stuff that got done. But yeah, and just to flashback, the issue actually opens with her trying to apologize to Croc. She has baked a cake that says "I'm sorry," and it's literally Croc. It opens with Croc like throwing her into it, and she's like, "Oh, do you have any idea how long it takes to find gluten-free flour in this city? Because why would how could a crocodile even be gluten intolerant?" Mildly amusing. First big art problem I had, beyond just the general look, is on the second page. This is where I've got everyone at home, play along if you haven't got the issue. Comixology previews, it'll be there. It's this double page spread. And I read this in the wrong order. I was very confused. Because there's a bit at the top, and in the top left, reads really normal. She's swinging a bat and kicking at Croc, and fine. There's a big, he says, "Get out, Harley." And then you move down, and there's a panel sticking up in the middle that I think it says, "All I wanted" is the start of that panel. That is where my eyes started to read, because that is sticking up, and from where I was, I go down the page. That's where that is completely the wrong place. It turns out to read. It turns out you have to pretend the page is split quite linearly in two, and go from the very bottom left after the top half to the bottom left, where it's Croc's face being hit by the baseball bat, and then move your way back across to left to right as normal, which is fine. And I'm all for inventive panel layouts. There's actually one later I'm going to compliment, but this one here, because of the placement of it, is actually really murky, and leads you to read it the wrong place. Or was this just me? Like when you glance at this, Pete, do you see that sticks up quite far and where your eyes?
It's an awkward one, because if in doubt, I would just go to bottom left and just sort of go horizontal. I agree it's sticking out enough, but the weird thing about it is that I can't see where it would flow from that if you do jump to that one that's sticking out. Like, how do you then work your way back round to the bottom? That
was my problem, because I read that, and because I was on the top and I got down, "Get out, Harley," and my eyes went down, and it came to that really neatly, and that does quite naturally flow right down into the next panel. And then I was like, I got into the second panel. I was like, hang on a second, this isn't leading. I thought maybe it was doing something inventive where it was going to loop back around. But then I realized, no, it's not going to loop back around. This is just the wrong place, and my eyes have fooled me.
I mean, I agree it's sticking out, but I can't actually read out the dialogue here because the preview size of the 2-page spread is even small on the single page. But yeah, I mean, I agree it's sticking out, but that's fair.
It was very frustrating for me, because just the placement of that one panel completely threw me. And I'm on the second page, and I'm already struggling with art layouts. It's like, this is not a good sign. It was rough. Honestly, though, if this wasn't Rosemont art, this issue would be like absolutely fantastic. The Harley voice is great. There's lots of Harley trying to be good, trying to be the hero. When Batman's in her apartment, she's like, "So, about the money," and he's like, "What?" He's like, the bat check, the allowance, whatever you call it." He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, come on. We all know you're giving Robin and Batgirl cash, to get them all going. I'm Bat Family now. I want some of that action. And he's just like, that's not how this works. And then in mid-sentence, he cuts off and turns around. He's like, Oracle, amusement mart, something's going on, obviously. And Harley's just there going, who are you talking to? Do you hear the voices too? And it's just like little bits like that. It's like, oh, this is great. And it's like, Batman's like, oh, I'm headed there now. And she's like, oh, trouble. Let me get my stuff. And then you just see Batman's cape diving out the window. And Harley's like, all right, I'll meet you there. It's like there's lots of just really smart dialogue that I'm just like, it's a really natural flow. It feels great. And it's like, I'm really enjoying that stuff. And then everyone has stupid faces and bodies and proportions, and it's ugly. And there's ugly layouts like that first one that I dislike. One of the layouts I will give credit for is Batman shows up at Amusement Mile to kind of shut down what's going on. Basically, there's people who were Jokers in the Joker War stuff. They kind of took on with that, and it's civilians kind of recognizing tattoos and being like, "Hey, I'm gonna get my own back on them." Kind of, it started a bit of a riot, basically. Then they end up, once Batman tries to intervene and shut down, they end up fighting Batman as well. But there is a panel, it's about 2/3 of a page, where Batman's like, oh, they're fighting me now. And it's like a tall Batman just silhouette. On the outside of it, there's just, a little bit like, typical, almost like cartoon fight smoke. When you have like a lot of characters like tumbling together and you just see the fog. It's doing that around him with like, a little bit of fighting. But then inside the silhouette is split into like 3 or 4 panels of Batman taking them down in a bit more clarity with like this blood red background. I thought that was a really nice touch. That layout was really inventive and I liked it. It's just a shame about, like I said, just the faces. Harley's face, which is really important in a Harley book. It's just so ugly. And Harley's legs, like they're just so stick thin at the end. Like they're normal legs, and then the ends are literally like points. Like she's walking on. Do you know, the first Kingsman film, the evil woman who was like, she's on like the stilts, like thing.
The blades, yes.
Yeah. They look like that. That's what her legs look like. It's so bizarre. Like just seeing that all the time. It ruins such a potentially good book. But anyway, the big thing at the end is the reveal of who the villain of the book is going to be, because Harley's the hero, so there has to be a villain. And it's going to be Hugo Strange. And he's behind the clowns in the streets, it seems. He's onto something. We don't know what his plan is yet. It's literally just like the final reveal is Hugo Strange is in on this. But there is a little nice bit when Harley gets home, when she was talking about all the bat allowance, whatever. She's like, I want to refurnish this place, get it all going, and I want bat gear, I want bat toaster. And when she gets home after this, there is a toaster on the floor with a bat logo on that presumably Batman has left her. And that's the stuff where it feels really in continuity, like this weird relationship that's going on between Bruce and Harley right now, where we've been enjoying it a lot in Batman, and that feels like it's extending into this book really naturally. And that's what makes this a very different Harley book to what we've had before. It's not just her off on her own doing wacky zany things. This is very much in keeping with Harley Quinn in Gotham trying to be better. And there's a big appeal to that. Overall, I can't give it any more than a 6.5.
Oh, given it's Rosemont art, that's actually quite a high score.
That's how good the writing is. Like, this is damn. Like, if this was an artist I liked, this would probably be like hitting like high 8s, maybe a 9. Like
Okay.
it's yeah.
Okay.